That's right. You have full access to The Odd Couple. Oh, my goodness gracious. On a Trash Talking Tuesday.
Might as well be every day.
There you go. Oh, well, that's what this show is all about. I'm just saying. I want you to get comfortable. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, we do that.
Yeah.
My name. Say my name.
Rob Parker.
Say his name.
Kelvin Washington.
That's right. And we are indeed The Odd Couple. And we're broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studio.
Do it live.
Thank you, Bill. TireRack.com will help you get there. An unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, and over 10,000 recommended installers.
Wow.
Thank you. That's right. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. A great show for you again on this Trash Talking Tuesday, no matter how you get this fine radio program, whether it's on Fox Sports Radio, foxsportsradio.com, Sirius XM Channel 83, or the iHeartRadio app. And coming up on the program in about 28 minutes, Ephraim Salaam, the former NFL offensive lineman.
Yes, sir.
He'll stop by, as always. Clarence Hill Jr., who's a Cowboys beat writer, and he'll clue us in on what's going on in Big D. Not really a lot of good things. And, of course, in the final hour, Mark Funky Cole Medina, and we'll get some NBA stuff.
We got
he,
some
of course,
stuff to talk about in the NBA.
Is our Fox Sports Radio NBA insider and last call as well. But first, let me welcome in my partner. He is
Kelvin Washington.
That's right.
Kelvin Washington. Do you want to give a presidential speech at all today? Do you have something?
Yes.
My fellow Americans.
My fellow Americans, let me make myself perfectly clear.
Make it clear.
Go out and vote.
Give me the money shot.
That's it. Go out and vote.
Yep. I'm jetting out of here. My wife and I, we like to try to, do it together. So we're going to meet together, drop it off, do our little op. We mix it up every couple of years.
I give you credit,
different.
man. Let me tell you. My
You mail
ballot,
in,
of course. I'm not going there.
Honestly, we've obviously done both. We've mailed in, we've dropped off, we do it in person. This go around, we're just doing it in person, man. We kind of, like I said, we've got family in town, we've got all this going on, and we're like, let's just drop it off and do our little.
Anything to get away from the family is that.
Don't disrespect my family like that.
I'm just saying.
You ain't lying. What you say? You need help? What you say? Maybe I gotta go. Me and Rob need to go do this thing.
We gotta
real
do
quick.
something, right?
Man, Alex,
All
can you believe he got me on some vegan excursion? We got to go on.
I got some new sea moss in the fridge. You want some?
I do want the sea moss. I'm serious. I got to talk to you about that. I do want the sea moss. But no, I'm excited, man. Of course, it's going to be a crazy day and a crazy week in that regard. So we'll see what happens there on the voting tip.
No doubt. All right, let's welcome in the Odd Couple crew because we wouldn't be able to do this fine radio program without him. Of course, Rob G, our able-bodied producer. I didn't mean to say that, Rob G. We got Rob.
What we going to do one day if he's not able-bodied?
He is.
Is he just bodied?
Our super unbelievable. Chris used to say super producer Rob G. So I don't want to say super. I need something better. We have
producer extraordinaire.
Don't we have a drop for him? It's just not there.
That's got to be racist.
We got one. What?
I don't know if I could roll that in, Rob.
Why is that?
A little too cultured.
Is it?
A little bit.
Well, even okay.
Rob, I'm just messing with you.
Oh, I was gonna say because I was trying to figure out what it says.
I'm like, dang, which one is this? You already just said his favorite show is George Lopez. What else you got?
It's just a drop from George Lopez. That's all.
George Lopez rolling around his grave. I know he's alive.
He's alive. All right, Alex is our engineer.
Man, if you ever in your life pull out a Ralph's chicken receipt again in my face.
No. But I got
Man, what in the look, this man is you are the walking contradiction.
I gotta cut these out like these are my IHOP.
You are a 92-year-old in some areas, and then also a 29-year-old in other areas.
What?
This man show them.
I'm cutting out my coupons.
You're cutting
for
out
IHOP.
coupons from pavilions.
20% off IHOP. So when I have breakfast,
what is it? What is a breakfast? $8 anyway?
It's either 20% off or you get a second entree free. I mean,
that sounds like you a second entree.
Yes.
My gosh, pulling out receipts.
When I've had like coupons or 2-for-1s on a date, I always get up from the table and I slide it to the waiter
on the low.
On the low, I always go over and I'll be like, "Hey, exactly.
I'm trying to make.
Don't bring it to the table. Staple.
Sir, this was expired right here. This one right here. Sir, you.
They'll staple it to the bill or whatever.
Yeah.
I said, don't staple it to the bill. Okay, don't. All right.
This man just pulled out a grocery store receipt. It wasn't even like I could understand if it was like the massive one with all the groceries. You pulled out just a thing of fettuccine. Can't believe you.
Rob, I got to say, for somebody who says put their chest out to be afraid to use a 2-for-1, that doesn't sound like you.
No, I'm just saying.
Let her know right out the gate.
She doesn't need to know why.
This Benz is because you're eating on me. You know what I'm saying?
No, she doesn't.
No, this is one time I'm actually with Rob. You can't do that.
You don't want to let them know.
Because she's going to believe you're setting her up for the future of
saving.
cheapness.
Right. All right, Isaac Lowenkrown is at the sports anchor desk. He'll keep us updated throughout the program. And, of course, Elijah is our social media guru.
I hope Elijah got your receipt there for the people to see.
It's all good. I'm not embarrassed to use
I'm just saying that.
Rob
you
G,
should
don't
be.
you remember we ate down here? We walked a couple blocks and get a free meal?
You should be embarrassed to use
All
coupons
right.
like that.
Hey, matter of fact, well, we know the trade deadline, and there were some deals done. Rob G, are you going to talk to us about a couple of these deals, and especially the Washington Commanders? Rob G.
Yeah, they're out here making some moves, man. They're there.
But I want him to talk about some of the moves that were made, and then people and how the Washington Commanders are the new hotness.
They are.
Well, they did make the biggest, splashiest trade of the
Everybody
day
wanted this person.
when they acquired Saints Pro Bowl cornerback Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah.
You know, the Chiefs were in on him. Allegedly, the Ravens had a key on him.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately ended up going to Washington. It was a third and a fourth pick and then, some pick swaps. So not a massive price tag. He is going to be a free agent at the end of the year, so it could be a rental. It could be something more. We'll find out later.
It's easier, right, to do that, right, because there's no big price tag.
But the reason why the Commanders making this deal raised some eyebrows is, number one, because it's the Commanders, and it wasn't the Chiefs, it wasn't the Ravens, it wasn't the Bills, it wasn't a team that you would consider a perennial power. The other one being that 2 days ago, Adam Schefter put out this report for ESPN saying that agents around the league have told him that their players have specifically requested, hey, if you can, trade me, or if you can, help me sign with the Washington Commanders. And what Schefter said in his report was that the biggest reason for this newfound interest in Washington is the play of rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels.
No surprise to me. No surprise at all. Every now and again, once every, 2-3 years or so, 4 years, we get kind of that young quarterback that has a run, or people see the run coming and they want to run and jump on that train. If you go back to Russell Wilson, right, and what he was able to do early on with the Seahawks, you're kind of like, all right, with that defense, with that quarterback, you can kind of see what's coming. Patrick Mahomes, once he really got the starting job with the Kansas City Chiefs after they moved on from Alex Smith, you see what was going on there. Lamar Jackson, once he kind of got rolling, you kind of know, punch them in for 10 games every year. Just put 10 games. Super Bowl, I don't know, we'll see. Punch them in for 10. And I think people are seeing Jayden Daniels and that whole new front office or the new ownership, and they're like, man, let me be a part of that, because at least it seems every year I'll have a chance to compete, a chance to be playing for something, a chance to be potentially in the postseason, and then from there you'll see once you get in the tournament. So it doesn't surprise me that people are seeing, and Rob, you know this too, man, they probably got the text messages going on. Hey, man, what is that kid, that real deal? Like, whoo, boy, let me tell you, he's that real deal. And then makes it interesting and intriguing to be a part of.
Yeah, I think there's more than that, and I do get it. He's the new hotness, and it's easy to, because quarterbacks get too much credit and too much of the blame. We know that, okay? So I do believe that they see a young kid like him, that's like last year with C.J. Stroud and whatnot. So I get that, but I think it's deeper than that. And I think when you talk about the quarterback, the coaching has to play a fact too, because it's about winning, and it's about changing the culture. Because I could give you quarterbacks that have bad coaches who were supposed to be can't miss.
Oh, I feel you on that.
Like Justin Herbert, right? But he had a bad coach in Brandon Staley.
Bad position, losing games.
Right,
yeah.
like games that you should have won and all kinds of stuff that stopped them from doing what they probably would have done with such a guy. There used to be polls preseason where Justin Herbert was ahead of Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, for sure.
Because they were like, he's 6'5", he's built, he's got a
best
strong
natural
arm.
thrower, yeah.
Exactly. Trevor Lawrence was can't miss, the best quarterback prospect since Peyton Manning, my God, blah, 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 blah. Bad coach in Urban Meyer. Bad situation, bad circumstance. So there is Joe Burrow comes out. Cincinnati can't win a playoff game. He shows up, and people are automatically there. Now, they haven't won. They got to the Super Bowl,
yeah.
which is good. They got there, but they haven't won anything yet. So I think there's a degree of that. And Quinn in Washington changing the culture and the tone has to be a part of that as well. Because even if you look at Jayden Daniels, his passing numbers, are modest, but it's that he's a dual threat and he can run the football as well. I think, Rob G., what do we look at? 1,500 yards through the first 9 games passing or something like that?
He's the second quarterback in NFL history through the first 8 games of his career, not counting this last Sunday, to have 1,500 passing yards and over 400 rushing yards.
And the rushing yards, you know what I mean? That's a number that's incredible for a quarterback. And that's what makes him so dynamic and why people are excited. I always look at Tom Brady, and people, have given Tom Brady way too much credit for the Patriots. They had a top 5 defense. Rob G., we did this math too. Like almost every year that they won a Super Bowl.
No, he was fortunate.
Right? And there are games, even in like you do the Falcons game, when they had to come back. The defense almost gave up nothing.
But they didn't score. They didn't score.
Right.
Yeah.
And when they beat the Rams, if you remember that Super Bowl, the last one they beat the Rams,
held them to 3 points.
They averaged 35 points that year, and they got held to an 89-yard field goal. Like that is how dominant, because if you remember that Super Bowl, Tom Brady had no touchdowns and an interception.
He had an interception, yeah.
Right, that's all and a fumble. I think that is what his day was. And they even gave the MVP to a wide receiver who didn't even have a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like it was that kind of game. Remember, I think it was 13-3, right?
It was an awful game.
It was an
a terrible
awful game. But nobody, because you can't they don't give it to the whole defense, or they don't pick out one player for one play. So a lot of times the quarterback is the one. But I think coaching is huge and a big part of that.
I completely agree. I think, again, I brought up, remember the conversation we were having about Michael Vick. Once he finally got with Andy Reid, remember that? We saw the best absolute version of Michael Vick, and we said, man, what could have been had Michael Vick been with Andy Reid and also matured as a person and as a player and was willing to grow. If he did that and had an Andy Reid, what would he have been? Alex Smith gets with an Andy Reid. So there's a marriage between a great quarterback and Bill Walsh and Joe Montana. You know what I mean? There's always some marriage. Don Shula and Dan Marino. Like we just said, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Donovan McNabb
went to 4
Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid.
NFC Championship games, and they went to a Super Bowl.
And I'll give you another example, and I don't think
That's
he's
why
necessarily.
I'm saying coaching is huge.
I'm going to add that extra C too, coaching and culture. When you if you look at, never have you ever thought someone would say, man, shoot, I want to go play with them Lions. But Dan Campbell has created a culture there where they're hard-nosed, they're gritty, they know who they are, they don't mind going for it, and he's created a culture and he's empowered his offensive and defensive coordinators. Now you got Jared Goff thriving, and it's like, man, Detroit seems to be a new place. So Jayden Daniels, married with Quinn, married with that new ownership, you're starting to create a culture where people expect to win there, they have hopes to win there, and now you got something cooking. Now you're cooking when you can have all those elements and all those ingredients brewing in a pot. Now you're cooking with something, man, and that's what people make something special, and guys want to jump up and be a part of. And say, man, because if I got to play, man, I want to try to be in a situation where I can play meaningful games and compete every. That's why I don't want to go to the Panthers. New ownership, we hear they're meddling. They don't know what they're doing too much. We don't like the coaches. They're not drafted right. You know what I mean? I don't want to go to that. You feel like a distance. That was Detroit for so many years. You know this. Detroit was a place you would go to retire. Every old player I know at some point is like, yeah, I swung by Detroit. Yeah, at a 5-game stint in Detroit, like they would just send you there. But now the culture's changed. So you're right. Jayden Daniels, Quinn, and the ownership, that whole trio has got something brewing too.
All right, the Commanders are the new hotness in the NFL. We all know that. Is it more because of Jayden Daniels or because of Dan Quinn? And
I'm going Daniels but I get the mixing of it.
Yeah,
all.
I think that it's more than just a quarterback. I think that Dan Quinn has a big part of it and what they're building. Because it's not just the quarterback play. Like, they have a really good, well-rounded team, and I think that that's part of it. 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. We'll continue the conversation next with you. It is The Odd Couple on a Trash Talking Tuesday. That's right, Election Day. If you haven't voted, man, get out there before the polls close. Right here on Fox Sports Radio, stick and stay.
If you, too, use 2-for-1s on a first date in the U.S. of A.
Rob G, I want to bring you in on Joel Embiid and what's happened in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because there's a storyline here that's not good, and the NBA is going to have to address it, I
He's been
guess,
going
at some
through it.
point. Yeah, and I get it. And let me tell you, they question whether or not he wants to play or not, because he's already kind of put out there that he doesn't want to play back-to-back
yeah.
games and all that kind of stuff. So there's that part, but then he got into an altercation with a reporter, a guy we've had on this show many times.
Marcus Hayes.
Yeah, and a guy who's he's been around, and it's not like some guy out of nowhere and some guy who's flying off the hand. This is like the guy who's there all the time for them. So
I think
Rob
this is
G,
part of the problem, too. Go ahead, Rob G.
Sure. So as you guys mentioned, the frustrations have been boiling over for Embiid basically for months now because, he was taking a lot of heat in the Olympics for not playing for France. He was taking a lot of heat here in America because he was gimpy when he was out there, and the team was clearly better when he wasn't playing and AD was playing instead. Well, flash forward to training camp, and even though he was not on the injury report at all during preseason, the team declared preemptively that he would miss the first few weeks of the season and he would not be playing back-to-backs this season as part of a ramp-up/load management plan. So he's been kind of ornery since then. Well, things boiled over. On Thursday, actually, is when this column came out by Marcus Hayes. Part of it reads, here's the quote. Embiid consistently points to the birth of his son Arthur as the major inflection point in his basketball career. He often says that he wants to be great to leave a legacy for the boy named after his little brother, who tragically died in an automobile accident when Embiid was in his first year as a 76er. Well, in order to be great at your job, you first have to show up for work. That quote did not go over well with Embiid, and as you guys mentioned, when Embiid saw him in the locker room on Saturday, ran up on him, they had some words. It was first reported that Embiid punched him, ended up being a hard shove with one hand. People were separated. Embiid had to have security come and escort him out of the locker room. The security, at one point, according to multiple reports, tried to say, hey, would you please not report this as an incident? Obviously, that could not be, done, and it had to go public. And we'll see what happens because the league is currently investigating the situation.
Well, I'm going to say this as a reporter and a guy who's been doing it for almost 40 years, and I've been in every locker room, every situation as a columnist in Detroit and New York, and I've had to write those columns and whatnot. A player can never put his hands on a reporter. It's just, I don't care what you don't like or you want to have a conversation. I've had people scream on me and all that kind of stuff, and I'm fine with that because I'll show up and I'll be in the locker room in the clubhouse to deal with that. You know what I mean? If I'm going to put my name on it and I'm going to write about somebody and say they're yay or nay or whatever it may be, you got to stand up to that. But physical altercations can never be accepted, and the NBA will have to suspend him for going physical because you put a lot of people in jeopardy, and it's just not a good look for the league. Even if you don't like, and I can understand, whenever you want to mention somebody in somebody's life, especially someone who's passed, that's a tough pill to swallow or have to relive, and maybe could have still made the point without going that route. So I'm not saying that was the best way that Marcus could have written that column or whatnot, but I still will stand by Marcus that Embiid can say, hey, I want to have a conversation with you. I don't appreciate it. I once had an incident with Lou Piniella when he was the manager of the Reds, where he came out of his office screaming, calling me every name in the book in front of everybody in the clubhouse, but he didn't touch me. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a conversation to be had if you're not happy with something, but never, never, ever physical.
So I echo the sentiments of never physical, but I'll say this. I think, and Embiid said this. He said, the next time, I'm willing to take whatever consequence comes with it. And I think two things can be true. Embiid absolutely should never touch a reporter. It's not necessary. It's not worth it. But on the flip side, I think sometimes you as an individual feel like it's worth it. And like if a fan throws a beer at you, somebody could say, well, come on, it's just not a fan. It's not worth it. You're the player. That player may feel like it was worth going in there and smacking a fan. And I'm not saying you should.
I can't get with that.
Right, but listen, I'm not saying you. But everybody has a thing in their life where they go, nah, it's worth it. And when he put his brother in there with his child, the deceased brother, and I think Marcus caught the brunt of everything. I think Embiid is upset with himself and his body for giving out on him, that he's always in this injury-prone situation. I think Embiid is mad at the fans because it seems like I've given you my all, you're turning on me. I think Embiid is mad with the media for saying these things about him, but he's like, yo, I give my all. I play through injuries. I almost got my face broken twice. Like, what more do you want from me? And Marcus was that final straw on that camel's back that broke it, and he shouldn't attack him. But I think in Embiid's mind, I'll pay the fine, $100,000 or 2 game suspension, whatever,
it's not just,
to make a point that
it's not,
you're not going to talk about my deceased brother. I'm not saying he should, but I'm saying I think every human has a thing that they go, I'm willing to pay the fine, the thing, suspension for this. And we all have it, whatever it may be.
I would never be physical. I'm just telling you, no matter what you said to me.
Really?
I'm dead serious because I don't think that, like I've seen guys lose their jobs doing baseball play-by-play, a physical altercation. They both lost their jobs and their careers from, or at least hurt themselves in being physical. So I do understand why there's a breaking point and you might have that conversation, or I'm never going to go and attack you and come over the table live on YouTube.
Fox Sports Radio, it is the Odd Couple. Rob, Parker, Kelvin Washington on a Trash Talking Tuesday, 877-99 on Fox. Lock that number in. Coming to you live from the TireRack.com studios. In an emergency, you want Rapid Radio's instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies for clear national LTE coverage and one-touch communication. Peace of mind for connecting with family in an emergency. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping. Right now, I have a conversation. The Commanders are all in, Rob. They're trying to making trades. They got Lattimore now, all-pro cornerback. Obviously, they're 6-2. Jayden Daniels looking like the offensive rookie of the year. And folks, according to some reports, Adam Schefter saying this is the destination people want to play for. The question is it Jayden Daniels? They're saying, I want to go hitch my wagon with that young player. You believe it's the coaching. I think when they see somebody young and special like Daniels, that's what it is. 877-99 on Fox. Let's go to the phone calls. Who we got?
And let me just say, it's Randy in New Orleans joining the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Randy?
Rob and Kelvin, how y'all doing?
What's up, Randy?
Man, how are you?
I'm not doing well. Before I even get started, man, it's a tough time to be a Saints fan.
Oh,
we
man.
We were happy to get rid of DA, but Marshawn is a fan favorite, man. It's a hard day in the city, man.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
It's a hard day, but I'll say this. My parents live right outside of Bowie, Maryland, which is close to the Commander Stadium.
Yes.
And they have a crazy, great fan base. The ownership is new. They got a really good coach, and, of course, they got a Bayou Bengal under center, and they're ready to spend some money, and people are ready to come now. So I think it's a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they just got everything working right now, and they just need to continue to build on that roster, man, and they're going to make a deep run into January.
Well, I don't know this year. Let me ask you this, and this is why I agree when you talk about a player, a quarterback of that ilk, and he's exciting and the new flavor of the month. But the coaching part does matter because Trevor Lawrence, I brought up Trevor Lawrence. I brought up Justin Herbert, who people were raving about, right? Oh, the Chargers got their franchise quarterback. They paid him and all that, but they had a bad coach. And that's why I'm saying coaching is so big as well, because it is about winning. You could have like a quarterback who's fantastic. If you don't win, the place is not as attractive.
Without a doubt. I mean, appreciate
Thanks for
the
the
call,
call.
too. Listen.
You know what I mean?
Yo, without a doubt. That's why I was saying if you ask me, give me the shiny quarterback first, just because if they're that good, then as we've talked about, if you're like that good, you should be able to elevate me. But having a great coach, having a great general manager, having a great ownership, when you have all of that, man, or at least 3 of the 4, you know what I mean? You can cook. You can make some things happen. One of the interesting things I have is Magic Johnson. He's a part owner of that, part owner of the Dodger. Obviously, he was a part owner of the Lakers for so long. Like, what the heck is it that sparks and like all the things that he gets involved in? Why the heck is it all win? Like, Magic Johnson has the Midas touch. Soon as he gets part ownership with this new ownership group with the Commanders, all of a sudden they start winning. The Dodgers finally get another couple of rings in the last 4 years. Man, Magic Johnson, if he's a part of something, you gonna win. I don't care if it was Michigan State as a player, Lakers as a player, as a part owner. If Magic is involved, he got the Magic Midas touch. You're going to win, including the Commanders right now. But they're going to win a ring in like the next 5 years, watch, because Magic Johnson is a part of the ownership. Who we got? He's just a fan?
I'm just trying to figure out the Magic with the Commanders thing and the Dodgers.
What you mean? What did we figure it out? You don't see the common denominator?
Cali, what is this? Cali Commander fan?
Yeah, he's a California Commander fan,
All
apparently.
right, in Fresno, you're on the Odd Couple.
Man.
Fox Sports Radio.
Hey,
What's up?
what's going on, man? I've waited 30 years to get talked about like this on a national media show about talking about the Commanders. It's
There you
always
go.
about the Cowboys. It's always about and well-deserved Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. But
Well,
I can't
if
believe
you
guys
listen
are
to
actually
our
talking
show,
about
we
my
don't.
Commanders.
Yes, if you do listen to our show, we don't do the same topics over and over like a lot of
We've
shows.
hit a few Jayden
We
Daniels
try to
in the
do
last
some different stuff. Yep.
Jayden. But enjoy the moment, Callie, whatever your real name
we
is.
Love it. JD5 is him, as my younger daughter says. He is him, and we are loving it. He's magic. He has a little bit of Mahomes feel. Like you just feel he's never out of it. And I don't know, man. I'm not worried about any team in the NFC right now, including the Lions.
Excuse me, what?
Jared Goff. Jared Goff is not as good as Jayden Daniels. Period.
Well, I won't argue the natural talent, but are we not gonna act like the Lions team as a whole won't run through them boys?
You got your feelings hurt?
Nah.
You sure?
Joe, Jayden Daniels looks like he's gonna be more special individually than Jared. I don't think Jared Goff is a natural talent. He's a good passer as long as you keep him in the pocket.
I think he gets discounted.
Discounted?
He
Yeah,
got the Rams to the Super Bowl.
He did.
They averaged 35 points a game that year. It was one of the best offenses ever. He was the quarterback. Let's stop acting like he wasn't the quarterback on that team. He was.
I think the issue is quarterbacks. He's from that era of the 80s. He looks exactly like an 80s quarterback, 90s. And I think the dynamic, these dynastic, I guess, ability of these, we mentioned Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Jayden Daniels, guys are getting you, they're running, they're passing, they're making unbelievable plays. He's just kind of not that. He's just your traditional drop back. And I think that's why he gets discounted, because at this point, we're looking at like 5-tool quarterbacks where he doesn't have all those tools, and I think that's where he's getting discredited. Ephraim Salam, just around the corner right now. Isaac Lowenkron, what is trending?
Well, perfect timing because, fellas, the first college football playoff rankings of 2024 have just been unveiled. To try and create some semblance of drama, we'll count it down from number 10 Notre Dame to number 9 BYU. Indiana comes in ranked 8th, then Tennessee at number 7, Penn State ranked 6th, number 5 is Texas, number 4 Miami, Georgia ranked number 3, Ohio State ranked number 2, and Oregon ranked number 1 in the first college football playoff rankings of 2024. The world champion Los Angeles Dodgers revealed that Shohei Ohtani suffered a torn labrum in his left shoulder when he was injured during Game 2 of the World Series against the Yankees. He underwent successful arthroscopic surgery today and is expected to be ready for spring training. The NBA suspended Philadelphia 76ers star Joel Embiid 3 games without pay for shoving a member of the media in the locker room after a game this past Saturday. In the NFL, the Steelers acquired linebacker Preston Smith from the Packers. They also acquired receiver Mike Williams from the Jets. The Washington Commanders acquired cornerback Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints. The Lions, as expected, picked up pass rusher Zadarius Smith from the Cleveland Browns. And the Baltimore Ravens acquired cornerback Tre'Davious White from the Los Angeles Rams. Fellas, what's Rob saying? What's he saying?
He's talking about how great you are. It was really impressive. I was like, wow, that was really kind of you, Rob, to say something. You really want to know?
Actually, I do. I'd be more impressed if it was something negative instead of that, to be honest with you.
Wow, why? I got to be negative. I'm a nice guy.
We were giving our own, you know what, we're breaking down what we do for a living, but we were giving the presidential race version of it. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Little election analysis. That's what they come here for, Isaac, to get all that. Appreciate you, Isaac. Thank you so much. Coming to you live from the TireRack.com studios. Joining us now, as he does weekly, is the man Ephraim Salam, former NFL offensive lineman, Fox Sports Radio Weekends. Ephraim, what's up, bro?
How are you?
What's up, brothers? How y'all doing, man?
Now you riding around with your I Voted sticker on? What you doing?
You already know, man. Come on, man. This is serious, man. Like, this about to go down, man. I hope everybody out there voting. I hope y'all been telling your listeners to go vote.
We did.
We started up the show.
It ain't about who you right. It's about just going out there and having your say.
Vote,
right.
Man. A lot of people died for us
Without
to
a doubt.
go do this, man. So that's the serious part of it.
Without a doubt.
No doubt, and you should never take it for granted. I tell people all the time.
Why not? You know what? Somebody said something great to me. I was real quick. He said, everything we do, FDA determines what food we can have. You got certain governments that determine the literal clothes that we can wear, you know, what's legal to sell. Why everybody's determining what happens in your life. Why won't you be participatory and, you know, help determine who's going to be elected in these cases? Because
people have been told that they don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Right, that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you should just look at, like, the Supreme Court justices that are appointed. A lot of that stuff comes from the not voting or voting. Yes, it does.
And you know, it's always
the judges, the DA, all of that.
People have no idea.
Yep.
All right.
If your school has funds to build the library, all of it counts.
No doubt about it. Hey, let's start here. Todd Bowles, they tied a game. Should they go for 2? Most people were ragging on them because,
great question.
You know, like I think you got to go for 2 there. You got the momentum. Yeah, you could have
knocked off the reigning champ.
You could have gone for it and try to win the game.
All right, so let me break this down for you. The answer to that question is yes. If they wouldn't have called the timeout on second down from the 1-yard line. You get what I'm saying? Like, they got all the way down to the 1 yard. I believe they got a first down, so maybe it was first and goal from the 1.
Mm-hmm.
They got all the way down to the 1 yard line with about 34 seconds left on the clock, and they decided that they would call a timeout. Now, that's where they went wrong.
Okay.
Because what you do is you just get up on the ball, it's on the 1 yard line, and you snap the ball with about, 20 or so seconds left. You either score there or you miss it. You wait. You take the timeout right after that. Then you run another play. You score. And then you can go for 2, but you leave about 9 seconds on the clock. Because they took that timeout and they scored the next play, they left 27 seconds on the clock. You can't go for 2 there against Patrick Mahomes at home with 3 timeouts in 27 seconds. We saw what he did with 13 seconds and 2 timeouts.
Well, they misplayed that.
That was remarkable.
That
was
was the
incredible.
worst. Instead of squib kicking that or whatever they didn't do, to kick off to actually kick it to him.
Right, but you understand where I'm going.
You
right?
don't leave that man anytime with timeouts.
You can't do it because even the fact that you tied the score up, you forced them to punt on that 4th and 1 with about 12 seconds or 9 seconds left in the game. If they're down by 1, they're going for everything. And all they need to do is beat you with the field goal. So you can't, you had to play. He did it exactly right. He got himself to overtime, and they flip of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You had an opportunity to stop him. It didn't work. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. And so you gave yourself an opportunity to win the coin toss and then drive down the field to win it in overtime. I think he played it perfectly. The problem I have is them calling that timeout. They shouldn't have done that.
Right. Instead of stopping the clock.
Hey, Ephraim Salam joining us. I want to go back to if you had a chance to listen or not, the conversation we were having about Jayden Daniels, and I'll make it a little bit more broader. There's reports, Adam Schefter saying that players are saying, hey, to their agents, get me there, I want to play with him. Does that happen when you guys see the new hot young person, say Patrick Mahomes, maybe somebody in your era, man, I don't know, maybe it was Michael Vick, people want to, whoever it is, where they say, man, I want to play with him because I might have a chance to get to the postseason year after year after year. Is that more common than people may think?
Well, yeah, now it is, because you got to remember there didn't used to be real big moves at the NFL trade deadline. That's more of an NBA type of thing where guys are moving, big name stars and all that are moving all over the place during the NBA trade deadline frenzy. It never really was the NFL until recently, like. You know, high case in point, DeAndre Hopkins, right? Like, how does he land in Kansas City? We see what happens there. Zadarius, now, like all of it was a lot of huge names, especially with wide receivers this year. So now you are on the phone with your agent, like, yo, look, I'm not happy here. They gonna trade me. We saw it happen with Devontae Adams. I want to go with Aaron Rodgers, right? And teams are adhering to these requests. So it's happening more so now than ever. But to your question about Jayden Daniels, there will be a line of receivers or offensive linemen or offensive personnel that would love to go join this young man and his journey, because it seems like it's going to be a hell of a journey. Just like in Houston, like you see what Houston did this offseason and re-upped with Stephon Diggs. I know he hurt himself, but he was having a heck of a season for them. The running back,
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, right? Like all of that man. Like, you don't think he wanted to go be a part of that? Like, I want to be traded, but I want to go there. I'm trying to go there.
Let me ask you, who's your right now? Well, midway point of the season, who's your MVP?
It would have to probably Lamar or Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
Those will be my two. Lamar or Jared. What Jared Goff is doing is amazing. His completion percentage, the team, the winning, the amount of points that they've been scoring. I mean, people are still waiting for him to just be the Jared Goff they think he is. But, you got to realize, even when he was with the Rams, he went to the Super Bowl. Right? So he's always had those qualities in terms of being a dynamic quarterback. And then on the flip side of that, with Lamar Jackson, I mean, it's nothing he can't do. And just having Derrick Henry there is just even – and Derrick Henry – that'd be 1A, 1B, and Derrick Henry would be 2A in terms of MVP.
That's what those are the three that I've had. We were talking about it yesterday. Get you out of here on this one real quick. What do you make of the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you buy them? They're sitting here 6-2. We kind of feel like the worst 6-2 team you've ever seen. Chaos. You don't know if the coach is going to get fired. How are you on the hot seat?
Yeah, some of the stuff he's doing, my goodness gracious.
But what do you make of just what's going on there?
Yeah, Sirianni, to me, isn't the right guy, isn't the right fit. It's just some of the situations that some – and I know they were hurt. Both of their receivers were hurt, but it just doesn't seem like they're buttoned up. And I kind of liken it to what the Dallas Cowboys were last year. Yeah, they're beating up on a lot of teams that they should beat up on, but when the rubber hits the road, I don't trust him or them to be one of those top teams in the NFC. So, yeah, I don't trust them, and I don't trust him as a coach.
All right, he is Ephraim Salam. We appreciate you so much, brother. Make sure you check him out on the weekends. Ephraim Salam on Twitter, on X. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely. Thank y'all. Y'all be safe.
All right. Continue the conversation. We could go with what happened with Bowles there and what they should and should not have done. Some more NFL conversation. It is the odd couple, Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington, Fox Sports Radio.
Embiid and what's happened in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because there's a storyline here that's not good, and the NBA is going to have to address it, I
He's been
guess,
going
at some
through it.
point. Yeah, and I get it. And let me tell you, they question whether or not he wants to play or not, because he's already kind of put out there that he doesn't want to play back-to-back
yeah.
games and all that kind of stuff. So there's that part. But then he got into an altercation with a reporter, a guy we've had on this show many times.
Marcus Hayes.
Yeah, and a guy who's he's been around, and it's not like some guy out of nowhere and some guy who's flying off the hand. This is like the guy who's there all the time for them. So
I think
Rob
this
G,
is part of the problem, too. Go ahead, Rob G.
Sure. So as you guys mentioned, the frustrations have been boiling over for Embiid basically for months now because, he was taking a lot of heat in the Olympics for not playing for France. He was taking a lot of heat here in America because he was gimpy when he was out there, and the team was clearly better when he wasn't playing and AD was playing in his stead. Well, flash forward to training camp, and even though he was not on the injury report at all during preseason, the team declared preemptively that he would miss the first few weeks of the season and he would not be playing back-to-backs this season as part of a ramp-up / load management plan. So he's been kind of ornery since then. Well, things boiled over. On Thursday, actually, is when this column came out by Marcus Hayes. Part of it reads, here's the quote. Embiid consistently points to the birth of his son Arthur as the major inflection point in his basketball career. He often says that he wants to be great to leave a legacy for the boy named after his little brother, who tragically died in an automobile accident when Embiid was in his first year as a 76er. Well, in order to be great at your job, you first have to show up for work. That quote did not go over well with Embiid, and as you guys mentioned, when Embiid saw him in the locker room on Saturday, ran up on him, they had some words. It was first reported that Embiid punched him, ended up being a hard shove with one hand. People were separated. Embiid had to have security come and escort him out of the locker room. The security at one point, according to multiple reports, tried to say, hey, would you please not report this as an incident? Obviously, that could not be, done, and it had to go public. And we'll see what happens because the league is currently investigating the situation.
Well, I'm going to say this as a reporter and a guy who's been doing it for almost 40 years, and I've been in every locker room, every situation as a columnist in Detroit and New York, and I've had to write those columns and whatnot. A player can never put his hands on a reporter. It's just, I don't care what you don't like or you want to have a conversation. I've had people scream on me and all that kind of stuff, and I'm fine with that because I'll show up and I'll be in the locker room in the clubhouse to deal with that. You know what I mean? If I'm going to put my name on it and I'm going to write about somebody and say they're yay or nay or whatever it may be, you got to stand up to that. But physical altercations can never be accepted, and the NBA will have to suspend him for going physical because you put a lot of people in jeopardy, and it's just not a good look for the league. Even if you don't like, and I can understand, whenever you want to mention somebody in somebody's life, especially someone who's passed, that's a tough pill to swallow or have to relive, and maybe could have still made the point without going that route. So I'm not saying that was the best way that Marcus could have written that column or whatnot, but I still will stand by Marcus that Embiid can say, hey, I want to have a conversation with you. I don't appreciate it. I once had an incident with Lou Piniella when he was the manager of the Reds where he came out of his office screaming, calling me every name in the book in front of everybody in the clubhouse, but he didn't touch me. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a conversation to be had if you're not happy with something, but never, never, ever physical.
So I echo the sentiments of never physical, but I'll say this. I think, and Embiid said this. He said, the next time, I'm willing to take whatever consequence comes with it. And I think two things can be true. Embiid absolutely should never touch a reporter. It's not necessary. It's not worth it. But on the flip side, I think sometimes you as an individual feel like it's worth it. And like if a fan throws a beer at you, somebody could say, well, come on, it's just not a fan. It's not worth it. You're the player. That player may feel like it was worth going in there and smacking a fan. And I'm not saying you should.
I can't get with that.
Right, but listen, I'm not saying you, but everybody has a thing in their life where they go, nah, it's worth it. And when he put his brother in there with his child, the deceased brother, and I think Marcus caught the brunt of everything. I think Embiid is upset with himself and his body for giving out on him, that he's always in this injury-prone situation. I think Embiid is mad at the fans because it seems like I've given you my all, you're turning on me. I think Embiid is mad with the media for saying these things about him, but he's like, yo, I give my all. I play through injuries. I almost got my face broken twice. Like, what more do you want from me? And Marcus was that final straw on that camel's back that broke it, and he shouldn't attack him. But I think Fox Sports Radio, The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington on a Trash Talking Tuesday. Also an election day in America, so shout out to all of you who have already voted, or maybe you're making your way out there now. Either way, do your civic duty, folks. We appreciate it. Coming to you live from the TireRack.com studios. Shortly after the show, our podcast will be going up, and if you miss any of today's show, be sure to check out the pod. All you have to do is search Odd Couple wherever you get your podcast, and be sure to also follow, rate, and review the podcast. Again, just search Odd Couple wherever you get your podcast, and you will see today's show posted right after we get off the air. Rob Parker, you know what time it is, right? Shekel City!
That's right. All right, we got a couple things that haven't happened in a while. First and foremost, last night, Shekel City was 3-0 last night.
Let's
yes,
go!
sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Boy, you're coming back. Where we at now?
Absolutely.
What's the record?
46, 56, and 2.
Okay, I thought we were a little bit better than that. I'm not going to lie. I thought we was 46 and 50.
No. 46, 56,
We coming back, though. We coming back.
Here we go. And tonight, there are no NBA games tonight.
Yeah, everybody's voting.
So we have all
Who do we have? Hockey? What we got?
hockey,
Oh,
NHL. All right. So best bet,
Ooh.
take the Winnipeg Jets
Okay.
minus 1.5
Where's that
goals.
at? I don't know. Who
That's
are
in
they?
Winnipeg.
Who are they?
Come on, you know a little. You grew up in.
I know. Hockey Town.
Hockey
Yes, I
Town,
know.
come on.
That was back when hockey was actually considered like a sport that it would make highlight shows and talk about it. Boy, I tell you.
They still sell out every arena.
No, they do.
They do it. They got their.
Well,
fan
tell me
base.
some other teams I don't know. Go
All
ahead.
right. Also, I got the New York Islanders hosting the Penguins minus 1.5 goals.
Okay.
I'm taking the Islanders. And the LA Kings
There we go.
are in Minnesota taking on the Wild.
The who?
Wild.
Who that is?
Minnesota Wild.
Okay,
Used
I
to be
don't
the
know
Minnesota North Stars.
So, is that a
They
WNBA team?
They went to Dallas, became the Stars.
No, that's a WNBA
I want you to
team.
know. Now, my wife, ex-wife,
Yeah.
is from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Being Hockey Town. When we were married and lived in New York, we had season ticket package for the New York Islanders.
Oh,
So
wow.
imagine this young black couple in their 30s going, and there's like a 10-game package.
Yeah.
You can go to, you know what I mean, something
Yeah.
like that. And we went to games, but she
Well, wait, okay.
enjoyed it. She
Why?
enjoyed
Well, yeah,
it.
it's funny.
But
Shout out
she
to-
watched it. You know what I mean? Growing up in Detroit.
Yeah, it's
she
a-
knew
it's
little,
a
she
way
liked
of
to
life.
Go. She liked to go more so than watch it at home.
Oh, without a doubt. Shout out to Mama Dub, my mom. Her birthday a couple weeks back. They went to a Red Wings game out there in Detroit.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
always
I'm
fun.
saying.
Bring
All
a
right.
jacket. It's cold out there though. When you go to the games, it's cold in there.
Yeah, real cold. All right, so the Kings plus 1.5, Islanders minus 1.5, and the Jets minus 1.5. And remember,
What's that?
Kelvin, I'm not telling you who to
What you
bet
telling
on,
me?
especially in the NHL. I'm telling you who I bet on.
Hey, I don't blame you because woo. I mean, I used to be able to rattle off a bunch of hockey players, man. I tell you right. And Wayne Gretzky still playing? My goodness, what is going, man? Hockey.
All right, now you date.
That's got to be racist.
And I'm just saying, no. I mean, Steve Eisenman's still playing, right? Because he with the
No,
said,
he's the general manager of the team now.
No, I thought he wasn't. He wasn't doing manager, like coach and player kind of thing. No.
No.
All right.
He's the GM.
All right. Hey, by the way, I'm sitting here on one of the TVs. This is unusual because you mentioned it. We would have the NBA on right now on one of the TVs. Obviously, there's no football on a Tuesday. We'd have something else, baseball, a couple of weeks back if we had it going on. We don't have that right now, so we got a bunch of just movies and obviously the other couple of TVs seeing what's going on with the election. Is there any notice how I looked away from you, Rob Parker. I went straight to Rob G and went to Alex, and I'm going to Elijah as well. Where are you putting Dark Knight in your rewatchables? Like, just if it's on, it's getting a half hour out of you.
It's way up there.
Yeah.
It's way up there.
Elijah said
It's
yes,
too dark for me. I can't watch that. It's too dark.
Wait, what do you mean? Because we know how you get with that.
No,
That's gotta be racist.
The Joker is just like
Too menacing?
Yeah, he's,
What happened? Okay,
he's psychotic. He's
how much
like,
time we got?
You know what I mean? He's just
we
a
got
mess.
3
We got
minutes.
time
Can
for
I
this.
be? Can I be a therapist for
No,
you?
what? I'm just.
Hello, darkness, Rob's old friend.
What happened, Rob?
Rob, what happened?
What do you mean? What happened?
No, well,
Talk
did
to us,
you
Rob.
have sisters, right?
Yes.
Did they lock you in a closet for
No.
like 3 hours or something?
I have a very vivid imagination. I never was into. I told you the movie that wrecked it for me when I was a kid. See what
you
year?
said The Exorcist, right?
No.
Wizard of Oz.
No. That didn't wreck it for me. That made my life.
Okay.
It was Willard. Do you know that movie?
Which one was Willard?
It was with the rats.
You mean Mark Willard?
No.
No.
He's just a weasel.
Don't call
He's
my
not a
guy.
rat.
Don't call my guy a rat.
You know he's probably listening.
He's listening
I
right
know.
now.
I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
Hi, Mark.
Don't do my guy
Sorry,
like that.
Mark. Sorry.
877.
He was the first guy I ever did a show with here on
No,
Fox
that's my
Sports
man.
Radio.
That's good people.
But no.
Wait, keep going, because
So-
we got to get to the root of this, because you're
No,
scared
I'm
of
trying to
horror
tell you.
mill, a bat flyers around here, you
No.
jump on my lap. What's going on?
So it was that movie. I went as a child, young,
But that's rats.
and
That's nothing.
and I remember waking up screaming that rats were all over me and they were biting me or whatever it
Says
was.
the New Yorker.
Yeah, I know, and that's my
The
thing.
irony is thick.
It is really, but
Like former
I'm
Meg
not-
Thee Stallion
I'm not
lick.
into like scary blood, gore, any of that. I
We
just,
know.
I don't like it.
But I was trying to get to the root of why. Like no one in their right mind thought of Dark Knight as like scary. Ooh.
no, I didn't say that. I just
Like,
said
nobody.
the character. I just said it just.
I mean, yeah, he played a
this-
dark version of the Joker. It wasn't the 1960s one.
I like
Splat!
I like Caesar
Pow!
Romero. You know what I
He
mean?
was-
But Rob, you love Wizard of Oz, right?
yes.
Have you ever heard the backstory of the things that happened on that set?
Yes, I know.
that's
it
some
was-
dark
and you
stuff.
still that's
some
not dark to
stuff.
you.
No, but I didn't see it on the screen. And
Yeah, you did actually.
Yeah, that's
You
some dark
actually
stuff.
did.
What,
Look
but
in the
guy-
background in one of the
No,
scenes.
I've heard that for a
Wait,
million
what happened
times.
now? You got Rob G? What? I don't
You've
know.
never
what
heard of
happened.
that?
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Well, maybe tell me what.
Supposedly somebody put a
Basically,
string around
you
their
know,
neck.
Okay. And it's just in the
Undid
background of the
themselves.
movies? They have good editing in the 30s or something? What was they couldn't edit that out?
They didn't see it, apparently.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. No,
All right, cue
I
the
don't
music
know. I'm
again.
just-
Hello, darkness, my
I
old
just,
friend.
I just would rather laugh and enjoy life. I don't need to be taken
But
down
Dark
by
Knight
somebody.
isn't amazing. That's not that. Wait. Let me start over. So you've seen it, though.
Yeah, I've seen
I don't
it.
know.
I
You
just
saw
didn't
it all the
like
way
it.
through?
I just didn't
I
like
feel
it.
like you walked out the theater.
I just didn't like it.
How can you not like arguably one of the greatest movies of the last 30 years?
I like the first Batman when they rebooted.
You
it.
like the cheesy, like
Yes.
happy-go-lucky.
I like
So why
that
do you
movie.
yell at people when you're
Why?
really just a cheesy,
Tell
happy-go-lucky
'em.
guy?
No,
What's
I'm
that all
not.
about?
I'm just real.
So
I'm
what,
real
this is the
always.
therapist. I'm getting to it. So you're really not a big mean guy. You try to personify
Who said
that.
I was mean?
No,
I
said you try
am
to
I a mean
personify.
guy, Rob?
No, because you're really a nice
Alex?
sweetheart
I'm just.
who
I am
drinks
who I
Arnold
am.
Palmer's and doesn't want dark stuff in his TV.
I don't need dark stuff. We got plenty of dark stuff in real life.
That
I
is
don't
true.
need to. I don't need to go see it. Pay
So
to
you
go
like movies
watch
like
it.
old school?
I just
you
like
old
to be
school, right?
enjoyed. I like to laugh, have
I
fun.
like that, man.
That's
All right, I just
all.
want to get to it because you didn't even like Dark Knight. The Chiefs.
It's dark.
We got to have a conversation about them. Fox Sports Radio.
Every Friday is.
You know what? One of the glaring things that happened, and we talked about it, about the Dallas Cowboys. I picked them to win. I said they've
know
been
why you
so
did that.
they've been so bad because I told you I had no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
I was going on just pure.
It happens. People win. You're not
Right,
going to lose
you know
all
what
the
I mean?
games.
You're not going to lose every
I
game.
get it.
That's exactly what it was like. It's Atlanta, my God. You know, am I really crowning Atlanta? They can't be beat. The Cowboys are bad. I get it. They'll luck their way into a win or what. They can't even luck their way into a win or to anything, to be honest. They're so bad. But the season's over, and you know what? You got to figure it out. Dak is hurt.
Yep.
He's going to miss a few weeks. I don't know. Are they going to finally let Trey Lance get in there? Or I know he's not the number 2 quarterback,
No.
but
Cooper Rush.
right. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
They ain't
I
in no
would-
rush. This is, they know what Cooper
I already
is.
know what he is.
Yeah.
I would try to take a look at Trey Lance. Why not? Like just
Yeah.
to see if he's anything, or do we need to move on? Because the guy was a top pick, right, in the first round by the 49ers. But my point is, this is not about just firing Mike McCarthy. We already know that. He doesn't have a contract for next year. We already know he won't be back. So that's not telling you anything special about what the Cowboys are. You could cut Ezekiel Elliott, right? He's not rushing for anything.
No.
This guy can't make meetings. He's late. They left him behind this past weekend because he didn't go to meetings or whatever. I don't even know how a guy whose career is hanging by a shoestring
because he feels slighted that they're not using him enough. He already said that a few weeks ago.
So you don't go to you come late to work?
I didn't say he wasn't being Petty Wop. He is Petty Wop's brother, Petty.
I don't even understand. Like you're playing football. People got to work a real 8 or 10 hours for no money, and you're playing in the NFL and you can't go to practice or you can't be on time. Like seriously.
Nope. I think it's a pout.
That's sweet.
Y'all brought me back.
I'll pout you right
Y'all
out.
not using me enough, man. I could be better than this. I
What
think
did
that's
I
what you
read?
get.
No running back for the Cowboys to rush for more than 13 yards in a carry. I mean,
no, it's
like really
true.
bad.
I mean, you can only go so far, but go ahead. I know you cooking to something.
Yeah, here's my biggest thing. You already signed a quarterback, and you signed Dak Prescott for $60 million a year. You signed CeeDee Lamb, who's more like a money market because he doesn't have a quarterback really. So right now. But if I'm the Cowboys, I think big, and I try to change what you have here.
Okay.
I would trade Micah Parsons and try to get some pieces and first-round picks that are going to fill these holes because defensively they can't stop anybody, right? And what is the point on having – you remember, he's got to get paid. He's not taking – he got a discount. He's got to get big money. So you're going to pay – you got – a quarterback with big money, a wide receiver with big money, and now you're going to sign a defensive player with big money, and your team can't win? Nah, I'm not doing that. You have to make drastic times call for drastic measures. I think they should trade Micah Parsons. Well, and throw in his podcast as a podcast.
Throw that in too, and now if you act now, you'll get Micah's podcast. No, I hear you. And if I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, I would understand the frustration and the need to do something drastic. And I do think they should, but I do think there's a greater issue right now with them, and it seems to be cultural. Like something's just off. The mojo ain't mojoing right now. Something is not working, not clicking within the organization. You got Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb getting into it multiple games. And we're all used to quarterbacks and receivers having a moment, but they had it for multiple games. You got Micah Parsons going on his podcast talking about top 10 quarterbacks, not mentioning Dak.
Turn off your mic.
You got Dak on the sideline. I'll be interested talking about we blank and suck. Some just seems to be off right now with them as a whole. You got, of course, Jerry Jones yelling at people, yelling at radio people, threatening to fire people. So the whole daggone organization right now is in a funk. So I don't think just getting rid of Micah Parsons is the answer. And also why I don't like that is because, as you know, I'm big on guarantees. And what that means is, like, for the most part, I know what I'm getting from Micah Parsons. Now, I'm not saying he's going to get 22 sacks every year, but I know when healthy, when going at it.
It's been a long time since that.
I know, but when he's healthy, he's not my issue. It's Aiden Hutchinson. I'm big on that. TJ Watt. Guys like that. Chris Jones for the Chiefs. That's why they couldn't let him go. Because guys like that, I know what I'm getting, and that helps me kind of ease my pains. Okay, I can that's taken care of.
The Cowboys have not been to the
first
NFC,
college football playoff rankings of 2024 have been revealed.
Like
Oregon is number 1, Ohio State number 2, Georgia is 3rd, followed by Miami and Texas, and then rounding out the top 10, Penn State, Tennessee, Indiana at number 8, BYU 9th, and Notre Dame at number 10. The world champion Los Angeles Dodgers revealed that Shohei Ohtani suffered a torn labrum in his left shoulder during Game 2 of the World Series. Ohtani underwent successful arthroscopic surgery today and is expected to be ready for spring training. The NBA suspended 76ers star Joel Embiid 3 games without pay for shoving a member of the media in the locker room after a game this past Saturday. NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers acquired linebacker Preston Smith from the Green Bay Packers. The Steelers also acquired receiver Mike Williams from the New York Jets. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
hour number 2 of a Trash Talking Tuesday. Don't forget, coming up, your chance won anything in the world of sports. So you want to be around for that. And we are the Odd Couple, Rob, Parker, Kelvin Washington, and we're broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com will help you get there. An unmatched selection, fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, and over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Coming up, Clarence Hill Jr. joins us, Cowboys beat writer. We'll talk find out what's going on with the Cowboys. They made another bad move today. Man, I mean, like I say, we talk about it all the time. They run the place like a mom and pop store.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I mean, they kind of are, though. That's the issue. They literally are a dad and son store, if you will.
Yeah, pretty bad.
With Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, man. Yeah, man, just saw some wild news that just happened out here in Los Angeles, man. That was wild. Rob, Parker, Kelvin Washington with you. I got a question for you, Rob. Has there ever been a team that was trying to go for something we hadn't seen ever? 3 championships in a row, 3 Super Bowl titles in a row. The defending world champs that are 8-0 that nobody talks about or is really overly hyping? Because that's what's happening with the Kansas City Chiefs. And watching them yesterday, they did exactly what I told you. You and I were sitting here watching the game, and towards the end of our show, I was watching the Bucs, and I think they got a turnover, and they just couldn't score, and it was just the game was hovering too close. I said, this is how you lose to the Chiefs. This is literally becoming scripted. You know exactly what they're going to do. For the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career, the last year and a half, or season and a half, he can make a mistake, throw a turnover, fumble the ball. Travis Kelce fumbles a couple times, loses one yesterday. And the defense can look at that offense and Patrick Mahomes and say, don't worry about it. We got you for once. We got you. Don't even worry about it. Patrick Mahomes, now with DeAndre Hopkins, who I knew was going to be a fit as far as having somebody with steady hands, somebody who can be dependable, somebody who can be reliable and make big plays when you need them. They just finally make the right play or two and win the game. And you look up, it's exactly what I said. I thought it'd be 24-20, ended up being like 26-20. They're just marching and moving along exactly where you kind of thought they'd be, methodically. And all of a sudden, they're sitting here at 8-0, and it's like nobody's having a conversation about the team that is having a chance to go for three-peat, reigning champs, and we don't talk about them. And I was just watching last night, laughing like, this is probably what they want. We fly under the radar somehow, if you will. I'm radar-ish. I mean, obviously, they're the champs, so we talk about them a bit, but not as much as we do either teams who are floundering and the Cowboys or the Jets or this team who doesn't look good or maybe the Lions or the Ravens or, hey, don't forget about those Eagles making a comeback. And the Kansas City Chiefs are sitting here right on schedule to be doing what the Patriots did, go undefeated, and obviously they want to do what they did and didn't do and win a Super Bowl. But I'm just like, man, they're 8-0. And we don't even talk about them. And I'm not saying necessarily you and I, but like we as a whole, people aren't really talking about this team that has a chance to make history and go 3-0, 3 straight Super Bowl titles.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because you talked about it earlier about they have the 8-0 record, but it hasn't been that impressive. Like that's the reason why. If I remember correctly, the Patriots, they were blowing people away.
Offense was crazy. Randy Moss, 27 touchdowns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just they were putting on a show, and you haven't seen this. I think all of the Chiefs' wins this year have been less
7 and under or something like that.
6 and under or something like that. Like really, really all close games that could have gone, a couple that could have easily gone other ways. And only – is this the Chiefs right here? Oh, this is the Patriots. Okay. So only 4 of their wins were less than 2 scores.
They were blowing everybody out.
Right. And that's what the difference is. So they were riding a wave and you felt like, oh, my God, you're watching this team. Whereas really this was Patrick Mahomes' best night.
Yeah, last night.
8 weeks in, right? 8 games in. Like there were a lot of games where he had 2 picks and no touchdowns, or 1 touchdown and 2 picks, and they needed something to happen for them to win, and I think that's why people aren't there yet. Now, if you get into it and it's 15 or 13 or 12, and they're playing better like they played in the second half, second half especially, because the first half was not good, right?
Well, yeah, we were sitting there watching it.
We're like, this is bad. But the second half was really good, and I think that was the one that if they were to continue, and even now let's just, they still won, right, by a touchdown, right? Okay, did they blow out Tampa Bay? No, they did not. No. The game was in Kansas City. They needed overtime to win. So
they should have. If you're the Bucs, you felt like if you're a fan of the Bucs, why we ain't go for two to beat them?
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
To beat them. Yeah.
So I think that's the reason why we haven't gotten that crescendo, that high pitch, that why people are like going crazy, like, and they know how hard it is to win 3 straight Super Bowls because nobody's ever done it. So many things can happen. There have been a lot of injuries. There's just a lot of stuff going on. And despite the record, there still has a sense of vulnerability to me.
No,
with the Chiefs.
I don't think you're crazy. I mean, they've been beatable, but what's weird is they can't be beaten. And that's the craziest, scary part of it to me. And I mentioned this before we've had the conversation about them. One of the things I've seen teams do is they start to outthink themselves because they're outthinking the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the history that they come in with, right? They come in with a couple of Super Bowl in a row, and they just seem unbeatable. And, I mean, they literally are right now as undefeated. So you see teams who should have beaten them start outthinking themselves, start not, making wrong decisions, start trying to do something they're not. It even started with the AFC Championship game, right? You had the Ravens who should have beaten them had they just did what they do, but all of a sudden they start out thinking, we're going to try to do it. Well, don't run the ball because if we try to do – just be who you are, do what you do, and you have a chance to beat this team. But for whatever reasons, teams can't beat them. And watching the game last night, I just laughed. I was talking to Rob G. I said it's so comical how predictable their games are this season in that they just stick around. Their offense isn't that explosive right now. They can't just make the plays that they used to, but they just hang around. You don't capitalize on a turnover. Maybe you got a field goal, that's it. Or maybe you got the turnover and you punted it, and they just stay around. And every 8 minutes or so, Patrick Mahomes, 10 minutes, will make a play that you go, oh, he's Patrick Mahomes. Last night did a couple of passes to DeAndre Hopkins where you go, okay, that was ridiculous. And then now you have a guy like a DeAndre Hopkins who's making a couple of touchdown passes, and you start to sleep. Travis Kelce had a big night for himself. They're starting to slowly get this thing rolling. Kareem Hunt, he's recycled, but he's there recycled, and it's working a little bit. Got in the end zone. And I'm like, the league is letting them figure this thing out. The league is letting them get DeAndre Hopkins, who, I can't believe they got him. I remember saying that in real time with you. And I'm like, they're slowly starting to figure this thing out. Well, we're going to look up, and to your point, they're going to be like 12-0, 13-1 or 2. I'm like, oh, they're about to potentially win a third Super Bowl in a row. I
still think they're beatable. I still think they're vulnerable, even with an undefeated record. I don't. And I'm not saying, like I said, Patrick, that's the best he played all year.
Yeah, I'm saying, what if this starts to get this thing rolling?
But what if this is a high water mark, which is you needed overtime?
He can't go backwards though, because he ain't been the Patrick.
No. But he could level, like, this was the best game. Doesn't mean that every game's going to be like this. And even then, it took overtime at home to win the game. You get my point?
No, I get it.
Like they haven't had the games where they just come out like those days seem like so long ago when they used to just wreak havoc, right, offensively, and you were out of the game at halftime. They were just like piling up points.
You know what else we forget about?
It just feels like there's going to come a moment or a situation or a circumstance where it's not going to work out for them. It keeps working.
Yeah. But and I know, and that's the thing. So remember this too. Remember the Chiefs. Rob G, it was 2 years ago, Rob G, when they went on that Super Bowl run. It was 2 years ago when they were down 10 every game, right? In the postseason. They were down 10 every game, and you're like, here they go, and they kept winning. So I think it's been a little while before we got what we are used to seeing when they're 32, 35 points a game, Patrick Mahomes throwing no-look passes like he's Magic Johnson Mahomes. I kind of think that's been a little further behind. Even last year, he wasn't as spectacular. He's still, good, but not by his standards.
Right, by what we were used to seeing.
100%. So I'm starting.
Anybody who says it's the same, they're not being honest.
No, I think he's regressed to. He still can do other things that other quarterbacks can't, and when the timeliness of when he does it, That's kind of what makes him. He has to pick his spots more now, not having a plethora of offensive players and skill players. But, man, they weren't just beating people down on the championship runs. Down 10, down 10, down 10, coming back down 10 in the Super Bowl. So they're kind of just this weird team that have been able to do it a multitude of ways, blowing you out, coming from behind every game. This year, more of a hanging in every game, not the prettiest. But at the end, they just win.
Well,
and I think there's
remember
something to the mental aspect, the belief that, oh, we're going to get it done. And like every last one of us in this studio, I don't know, maybe not you, but if they're down 4, 1 minute left, a timeout, they have the ball, I'm putting my $100 on they're going to win. They just know how to do it. We've been there before. There's something to having done this
I'm not
before.
as confident. If I had to say, are they going to win a third straight Super Bowl, I say no. I really do. I
got the Lions winning over them, but I hear you.
I really think like they have been very fortunate, and we talk about it all the time. Remember, they were leading the game against the Ravens, and the Ravens came back late, threw a touchdown that would have tied the game, but his foot was on the line. Like stuff like that.
But how long before it keeps happening though? Like where it's just like we're just winning.
No, I get it. But I'm just saying that's why it just doesn't feel like, oh my God, there's no way you're gonna stop them.
Why you don't feel the opposite though?
Why
Why don't you feel, man, they should have lost this one, they should have lost, they had a chance. You just can't beat them. Like, why don't you feel the opposite way?
Because in football, there's not a series, so you can lose one game. It's all it takes.
Right, anybody can lose a game. I'm just saying, but like,
right. So that's my point is that it's worked and it keeps working. But what if you're in the AFC Championship game this year, right? Like last year when they didn't score any points in the second half, they still won the game, but they didn't score any points in the second half. Or there's an intercept when they lost to the Bengals at home to get to the Super Bowl. Mahomes threw a late interception, which led to a field goal, and they lost. Like he threw a pick.
Right.
That's how they lost that game. Like some circumstance or situation, and his play could lead to something like that. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but they don't feel like, even though they've won 2 in a row, the last year was another year, they didn't feel like they were that dominant to me. They won when they needed to when they got in the playoffs. But it was a rocky, uneven year, and I look at this one.
On their 4th, 5th championship, you're going to be like, I just feel like they can – hear me out. They can lose this one. I'm like, Rob, this is the 5th in a row, Rob. What more do you want?
I don't think that they're as dominant as their record.
I think it's scary that they keep winning despite they technically should lose, or they should have lost this one, or there's no way they won this one. And they keep winning. To me, that's even scarier because I see their trajectory going up of Patrick Mahomes is only going to play better. Travis Kelce is starting to get back to Travis Kelce-ish. And now they got DeAndre Hopkins, and the defense is absolutely great. That's scary now. I'm like, well, what? We had a chance to beat them. Now I'm worried we won't have a chance.
Yeah, I'm not there. I think that they can be beat. They haven't been beaten, but I think they can be beat.
All right, you're going to be 5 championships in. I'm telling you, man,
Well,
they're on their way.
We'll see if they get to the third one. We'll see. It's never been done before. All right. Jerry Jones is at it again. We'll explain that next. It is The Odd Couple on a Trash Talking Tuesday. Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington, right here on Fox Sports Radio. Stick and stay.
America.
Let's talk about you brought up the Lions earlier, but we didn't really talk about the Packers. And the Packers lost, and I don't know. I'm starting to look at Jordan Love a little differently. Okay? And I thought when he beat the Cowboys at first, we thought that was his coming out party. My God, he was unbelievable. And then he had like 5 or 6 games in a row better, right? At the end of last season. Because in the middle of the season, it was like, where is he? And then it was like, okay, this guy, it all came together. And then they trashed the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Fast forward to this season, and you realize the Cowboys aren't any good. And they've been trashed by 3 other teams. Okay, everybody. So it's not a Jordan Love coming out party only where he was able to do it against this team that had won 16 straight home games and had this great defense. No. We now know the Cowboys aren't any good, and their defense is terrible. So now you look at the Packers and Jordan Love, and guess what? He's a turnover machine. He had a couple more yesterday, right? Rob, do we have the number, Rob G? I mean, he throws it feels like he throws 2 interceptions every game.
Well, here's the numbers that you should probably want to know.
Yeah,
Because this is not just a this season kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love's first 9 games as a starter last year. 14 touchdowns, 10 picks. People were saying maybe they should bench him. Maybe they made the wrong decision.
That, right?
Yeah.
All that stuff. Then he goes on this heater, which is an all-time great heater.
Yep.
The next 8 games, 16 touchdowns, 1 pick, secures the bag, largest contract
and
in Packers
that
history.
included the playoff game.
That included
right?
the
That
Packer
included
game.
that big playoff game in Dallas, and everybody was watching, so they were like, they got their guy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love.
And then you fast forward to this season, and it looks eerily similar to the start of last season through 7 games because 2 of them missed with injury. 15 touchdowns, 10 picks. So the sandwiches end of it, the bread part, don't look great. You're hoping he's somewhere in the middle like we saw towards the end of last season.
Well, this is where I come out, and I said this a couple of weeks ago. This is why I think the Packers are in good hands, though, because I think they have the marriage of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Literally what you just said was split exactly. Brett Favre will throw a bunch of touchdowns, 5 touchdowns on Monday Night Football. After his father passed, he looked great. Then Brett Favre will lose you the game because he gambled and threw an interception. That's the story of Brett Favre. However, went to a couple of Super Bowls, won one, was an MVP, a couple times? And so overall, heck of a career, Hall of Famer, especially just on the field. We'll leave off the field for another day.
How about helping the poor? No?
No, we're going to leave that another day. But strictly, we're going to keep it, on in between the lines. Now, I go to Aaron Rodgers, amazing career, Hall of Fame career, arguably, for me, one of the top 3 most talented quarterbacks I've ever seen. I mean, he's just pure talent, won a bunch of games, won a bunch of awards. You want more in the postseason from that. You want more wins in the postseason. You want more Super Bowls. Part of that, to me and others, he was too conservative. He wouldn't make the mistake. He was too calculated. And it works during the regular season, but every now and again you got to throw an Eli Manning pass where I'm going to just close my eyes, I'm getting tackled, and hope David Tyree catches it. And I think you have the perfect marriage between the two when it comes to Jordan Love. He's going to take some risks that you're going to scratch your head. He's going to turn it over every now and again, but also think those same things will have him in a successful situation because he's going to take those risks. He's going to be able to make passes and plays that you were like, man, I don't think anybody else could have made that. And he's also talented like an Aaron Rodgers and accurate like an Aaron Rodgers. So I think they have their guy for another decade, and that'll be 40 years of quarterbacking for the Packers where they've been solidified with 3 guys. So he's going to turn it over. He's very banged up, by the way. I mean, you saw him yesterday. I don't even know if he should have been out there. He's so banged up. He's been injured last season a little bit, this season as well. So once he's healthy and at his best strength, I think they still got a guy. And I'd be 1,000% happy to have him. In fact, there might be off the top of my head 5, 6 guys I'll take over him. That's it. Maybe. If the entire NFL. I think they got one of those ones, and they'll be fine as he continues to get healthy and they continue to grow. This is only his, second and 1.5 year starting.
No, but he's been in the league longer than that. And that's the thing, is like the difference. And I'm not saying he's going to be Aaron Rodgers where he had the best touchdown to interception ratio.
Yeah, so that was in stuff. 40 touchdowns, 4 to 5 interceptions. Yeah.
This is his 4th year. Mm-hmm. And there should be more progress or growth, not to just throw the football up for grabs or whatever. Like, there's got to be, like, and I agree that you see it. There's a lot to like.
Yeah,
there's a
love.
lot.
You ain't want to say love. You ain't see the pun there. Lots of love.
To like. I'm not into the love that quickly. You know, it takes a little for me.
Yeah, we know.
But it's just worrisome, the interception, that many interceptions, because you already talked about what we got. You got 10,
15, and 10 right now. Yeah,
so, but that could be if you keep on this, that's 20.
Yeah,
like
he ain't no Jameis Winston.
Okay, we just talked about Jameis Winston at 30, which is ridiculous. But if he were to keep this pace up, would have 20 interceptions. That's not good enough.
No, it's not. And I don't think
then that's what I'm saying.
And that's a fair look. That's fair.
all.
I think he knows. I think he's going home like, yo, I can't do that. But again, I just listen, man. When you get one of those ones, man, you got to lock it in. I mean, Dallas has never been confident that Dak is one of those ones, but they paid him because they just like, well, he's good enough.
We've argued about Dak forever, and I never bought into.
That's what I'm saying.
I never bought into him.
Most people didn't. They thought he was a fine quarterback. Like he played in the league 10, 12, 15 years, perfectly fine. He's better than.
He can't get you to where they need him.
Jordan Love is not one of those. I think he's the opposite. I think Jordan Love will win. He already has, but I think he'll continue to be able to win you games. He's going to win some big games in Lambeau, big game for the Packers. I think they got a good one. And I hate it, because he's going to be competing with Jared Goff or whoever the Lions quarterback is in 5 years, for the next decade. Like, they're going to have to deal with Jordan Love and that Packer team just when you thought, man, the Lions can finally own the division for a little while. Here comes Jordan Love making them a legitimate team. I mean, if they win yesterday, they're sitting at 7-2, top of the division, and we're like, here they go again, which they very well still could be if throughout the rest of this season. So he's a turnover. He has turnovers, but I think he's the perfect hybrid of Brett and Aaron Rodgers. Kind of what you want. Take a little risk. Fox Sports Radio, The Odd Couple, Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington on a Trash Talking Tuesday, coming to you live from the TireRack.com studios. Rapid Radio's instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for clear connection at the touch of a button. A great communication device for kids. If you have kids and you're not ready for them to have a phone yet, right? There's a lot of pressure with that, comes with that. Maybe they need something. Use these. We use them around the show. You should too. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off, and you're going to get free shipping. I see you rocking out over there, Elijah. Yeah, you like a little Doja Cat in your life? I ain't mad at you. Just a little bit. Oh, the sound. Okay, I hear you. All right. Want to have a conversation about Todd Bowles again and going for two and when not to go for two. At the school of Dan Campbell's school is what it is right now. When and when not to go for two, when and when not to go for fourth down. We saw Nick Sirianni dealt with that with the Eagles over the week as well, and he was coming out regretting it and being scared, and you can tell he coaching for his life. That's like that R. Kelly clip. I'm fighting for my life. Now, he is coaching for his life right now. He's the only 6-2 coach I know who's sweating bullets with every decision he makes. But that's a tough one. I'm glad we had Ephraim Salam on earlier. For those who may have missed it, make sure you check out the podcast. Because as a player, we always hear, like, you see, like, great example, Rob. We were watching a game, and it's 4th and 1, right? And they'll be like, you'll see the fans boo because they don't want you to punt. And the player's like, go for it, go for it. The quarterback's out there is waving off the coach, like, no, let's go for it. Like, if you're a player, having a coach that, hey, man, we're going for two, we're going for the win, or, hey, we're going for this, going for that, I feel like that empowers you. I feel like it gives you, like juice, like they believe in us, like let's get this done, we want to win, or we want to get this first down. But also you need a coach who can sit there and be like, every now and again, hey, we're going to take these points, we're going to live to play another day. So I think as a head coach, you got to have that balance of knowing the feel of the game itself, like the actual game you're in, the feel of your season, like, all right, we can't lose right now. We should compete and try, we're 4-4, we kind of need this game. And also the feel of your players right now in the game, like the how are we offensively, should we go for it? And it's a difficult thing because part of you wants to go for the win. Other part is, okay, let's just live to play another down, another overtime in this case.
Yeah, I just think there's situations and circumstances. I don't think for 1 second that John Harbaugh wouldn't have gone for two when they got that touchdown.
That's his ethos. That's his ethos.
Like they would have tried to win the game there. I got Lamar. I got Derrick Henry. We're going to be that close to the goal line. We can get in. You know what I mean? Like there's
2
a time
yards.
and a place.
Derrick Henry
right.
can fall forward and get 2 yards.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to have – I get it. You have to have a feel for it. And I'm the anti-Dan Campbell because I really believe he cost the Lions a trip to the Super Bowl.
Without a doubt. Rarely can you –
But a lot of Lions fans don't want to admit that because they love him so much and the way he's turned the thing around. But
he went too far.
Right. And there comes a time, seriously, like there's winning time. I'm down on Shanahan. I'm probably the only guy in NFL America who's down on Shanahan. Cause all the good stuff that he's done with the 49ers, He can't close it out.
That's a real thing.
He can't close
It's
it
a real
out. How
thing.
many times are you going to go to Super Bowl and lose, have a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter and not win? Like, that's happened twice.
Stop running the ball. Stop making easy decisions. Yeah.
Stop. When you throw the ball, the clock stops
Yep.
and incompletes, and you give the other team time. Like, all that stuff. And then when he was the offensive coordinator of the Falcons, he was the author of that choke job.
28-3, yeah.
28-3. They stopped running the ball. They ran the ball 4 times in the second half. You have a big lead.
We
You got to
running
run
this clock
the ball.
out, Tom
Right.
Brady, and getting this ball. We about to win. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes it is. It ain't rocket science. It's just sitting there.
Like, you try to be too smart.
Yep.
Like don't be the smartest guy in the room. You know, we have an old saying in the press box for writers.
Mm-hmm.
Just write it. Like a story's presented to you.
Right.
Just write. Don't overthink it. Don't try to be cute and figure out some little angle. No. Just write it. And I'm going to give you the perfect example. I was covering the New Jersey Nets when Willis Reed was the coach. This is back in the late 80s or something like that. And Willis Reed is there. It's a Sunday afternoon late in the season in April. Like, you know what I mean? There's like 4,000 people in the arena.
Right.
The Nets are on some drought, 20-0 run by the other team. And so, you know, Willis is standing up, and some guy stands up and says, "Hey, Willis, put somebody in who could score." Okay? Willis turns around to the guy in the crowd. He goes, "Show him to me. I'll put him in." Okay? This is like to his team.
Yeah.
Now, the next day, there's like 4 reporters who cover the team every day. The next day, everyone's lead on their story was that scene. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it was that obvious. That's the story that Willis Reed is talking to a heckler about.
Bums. I got a bunch of bums.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking about. Sometimes it's so just do what's in front of you. Don't try to be too cute.
And that's what we all know the phrase, kids, keep it simple, stupid, right? It's just sometimes you just got to sit right there and keep it simple. It's staring you right in your face. And people overthinking it. To put a button on that, to Dan Campbell, first one, you go for it. Okay, I would have preferred you kick it. Okay, great, but you didn't. He did it multiple times. Then he dug himself in a hole where he had to stand on principle. Like, this just what? No, now it's pride. And pride comes before the fall. Hey, don't forget to get those calls in. Trash Talking Tuesday. You can make sure you hit us up, 877-99 on Fox, 877-99 on Fox. Trash Talking Tuesday. We want to hear from you. Hit us up. Clarence Hill Jr., just a second. But right now, Isaac Lowenkron, what's trending?
What's trending almost was Rob's article about Willis Reed, because for a second, I thought that I had found it. I see an article. The Nets are desperate for someone who can score off the bench from February of 1993. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, do you have that?
Is that it?
That is funny.
Wow. And they wound up trying to sign Bernard King. So apparently,
was he past the time?
Was that really in 1993?
No, that was before that.
Before that, okay.
All right.
Well, it goes to show you they were desperate multiple times in those days.
He was beyond his prime.
And those are the New Jersey Nets.
First of all, Isaac, you might have missed your calling, brother. Or maybe this is a cover-up. Are you an FBI agent? Because every time you're here, you find out something like, and in 9th grade, Kelvin, but like, what? FBI agent.
Your
man.
concept is correct. The initials are a little different, but you're on the right track, and that's all I can say.
All right, you FBI agent, CIA or something.
And you owe me one for not revealing what happened in 9th grade.
That's a good point. We'll talk about that later off air.
Can't wait for that podcast. Anyway, speaking of being revealed, the first college football playoff rankings of 2024 unveiled a short time ago. So Oregon number 1, Ohio State number 2, Georgia is 3rd, Miami and Texas round out the top 5. Then you've got Penn State at number 6, Tennessee, Indiana is 8th, BYU at number 9, and Notre Dame rounding out the top 10. World champion Los Angeles Dodgers revealed that Shohei Ohtani suffered a torn labrum in his left shoulder when he was injured in Game 2 of the World Series. He underwent successful arthroscopic surgery today. He is expected to be ready for spring training. NBA suspended 76ers star Joel Embiid 3 games without pay for shoving a member of the media in the locker room after a game this past Saturday.
Bravo by the NBA.
They had to do
we
it.
told you.
Yeah, we talked about it. I thought it'd be 2, but yep.
I'm sure you talked about it before, Rob, but have you ever been involved in situations where it's come close to getting physical?
No, I've been yelled at and, threatened, but no one has ever physically touched me. And I always say, people have a right to blow off steam.
Yep.
They just can't touch you, and that's why the NBA had to do that. It was dumb on his part.
Line was crossed. In the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers acquired linebacker Preston Smith from the Packers. They also acquired receiver Mike Williams from the Jets. The Washington Commanders acquired cornerback Marshawn Lattimore from the New Orleans Saints. Fellas, all yours.
All right, Isaac, thank you so much. FBI agent Isaac Locron, or CIA, something going on over there. Coming to you live from the TireRack.com studios, the odd couple, Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington. Right now, we are joined by Clarence Hill Jr., Cowboys beat writer, All City Dallas. Clarence, appreciate you joining us, man.
How you guys doing on this election night?
We're doing good on this election night, man. We've been reminding folks to get out there and vote. If they, we're out here on the West Coast, so you still got 2.5 hours out here, at least specifically in California. But I'm sure people still have time around the country listening. So get out there. Man, there's so much we can talk about. Go ahead.
I was going to say, first tell us about your new gig and All City, Dallas. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I was at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram for almost 30 years. I moved to a new venture, All City, Dallas. It's doing daily podcasts and writing for the website, man. It's like it's talk more, write a little less, but I still write, still remain a Cowboys insider, the longest tenured Cowboys insider covering the team, and that's still who I am, the authority on the Cowboys.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Congrats,
Mazel
bro.
tov, no doubt. The Cowboys, Clarence, my goodness gracious. Are they going to win another game this year or what?
Well, they got the Giants on the schedule.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Saquon Barkley ain't walking through that door,
That's
huh?
right.
Yeah, they got Giants of Carolina, but other than that, it's going to be tough treading, and that would be good. Dak Prescott. Now you don't have Dak Prescott for at least a month. It's a tough road to open the Cowboys. And some things is just not trending right for this team since the offseason. With Derek Quinn be on in and never really added anybody to the roster, improved the team. Certainly paid Dak and he paid CD, but didn't do anything to improve that team a year ago. They got off to a bad start. They've been beset by injuries, losing Michael Parsons and Marcus Parks and Deron Bland, all Pro Bowlers of a year ago, and now they lost Dak Prescott. So they seem to can't get right.
Does this help the team at all in that they can throw it away if you're Jerry Jones and can say, see, no. What happened was we were never healthy. We were never right. That's all. That's the only reason why. You saw we 12-5. This is what we do. We'll be 12-5 next year. Does it help them in those all? They can wash it as a throwaway?
Well, it doesn't help Mike McCarthy. It was in the last year of his contract and really needs to take a step in the playoffs to keep his job. I mean, they signed coaching staff on a one-year deal. They're all in the last year of the contract as well as more than 30 players on the roster. So this was always going to be a season on the brink. And I don't know if these injuries and the way the things happen is going to give him a pass to come back next year because, again, the thing started bad well before the injuries. Remember the loss to the Saints, the loss to the Ravens, and that blowout loss to Green Bay last year. They really needed to take a step, and they've gone the opposite direction. So Jerry doesn't want to give up. He would never admit giving in. Remember, they made a trade today to add to the team. I don't know how it helps you trade for a receiver when you don't have your quarterback. But they traded a fourth-round pick for Jonathan Mingo, who is 12 catches, I think, on this season in 9 games. I don't know how that helps. But they did make a trade. Jerry says not giving up. He believes in his team. Certainly doesn't want to tell the fan base he's giving up. But this season is gone.
How about why is Trey Lance not going to play? Why? I mean, just like the season is almost lost or whatever. Why not see what this guy has, or does he have anything?
Well, I mean, they watched him for practice for 2 years. I mean, they seen the guy. They watched him in preseason. They let him start every preseason game. They kind of know what he is. He's a guy that's still raw that needs reps. Again, as I said before, they're not ready to put the season in. But once you start Trey Lance, you're going to think the season's over. And at this point, that's not where they are, and they're not going to admit that. But I understand you trade a fourth-round pick for the guy, and he's going to be with you 2 years. You don't even know what you got. You're going to let him walk. So waste him a fourth-round pick. Certainly, he's a free agent at the end of the season. I understand the conundrum, but they have been watching. If they thought he had something, that would have made him the back quarterback.
Clarence Hill Jr., Cowboys beat writer, All City Dallas, joining the odd couple, Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington. Let me ask you this. I look at the situation in Dallas. Okay, the Giants are a mess. We know that. In that division, I should say. We had spent time today talking about Jayden Daniels and how he and that organization, new coach, Dan Quinn, you got the ownership. They've got something brewing there. We already know the Eagles seem to be righting the ship a little bit, getting back to what we thought they would be. Is Dallas looking at this as, man, we might end up being third, fourth fiddle in our own division?
Well, I mean, you look what the Eagles and Washington are doing, and their arrows are going up, 1-6-2, 1-7-2. The Cowboys are fighting Washington for the base for this division. That's where it is. I mean, Washington don't have quarterback, and they're admitted that they're done. And the Cowboys just signed Dak Prescott to the richest quarterback deal in NFL history, and we don't even know about the coaching situation for next year. So it's a mess. It's Jerry Jones is on to do.
We do know about the coaching situation that they're going to be a change, obviously. From the standpoint that he was playing without a contract, Mike McCarthy for next year, and I mean, the guy's won like 13 games the last 3 years or whatever, but that's just not going to be enough. No one could have ever, Clarence, imagined what we've seen this year from the Cowboys.
No one can expect. You can say what you want about what they've done in the playoffs and not winning the playoffs, but they've won as many games as had the previous 3 years any team in the league except the Kansas City Chiefs. And the only reason, and Kansas City Chiefs, of course, have 2 Super Bowl titles to show for it. Cowboys got 1 playoff win to show for it. That's really been the rub. But they've been a good regular season team. They've been a good team. They've been a winning team. This year, it's just gone the opposite way. And I understand that when you don't improve, there's going to be some teams that go to other. They did nothing to. So you have to understand there's going to be some regression. I don't think it'll be this regression.
All right, well, Clarence Hill, man, we appreciate you. Clarence Hill Jr., thank you so much for joining the Odd Couple, brother. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
All right, Clarence Hill there. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's a mess there, and even for Cowboy fans, I don't know how you could look at it and think you have a glimmer of hope. Your quarterback's out now, as poorly as he's played. Your quarterback's out for the next month or whatever, and it's just a mess. To make a trade going where they are just makes no sense to me. It seems like you're adding.
I mean, at this point, are you playing for a draft pick? You know what I mean? Just, hey, we might as well get a top pick out here.
Right.
I do wonder if they find a way to Dak Prescott work out a deal with him. Like, hey, man, stretch this money out a little further. Let's figure out a way to reconstruct this deal because clearly we're not talented enough. You know what I mean? We got to get some more talent. So we say we'll give you the money, but can we stretch it out, add a couple years, figure out a way to make this work for you as well as us? Because ultimately we know you want to win some games. And, bruh, this talent around here, this ain't cutting it.
All right, 877-99 on Fox.
Oh, yeah.
877-996-6369. Trash Talking Tuesdays right around the corner. You want to jump in, anything you want to trash in the world of sports. We will not, N-O-T, interrupt you, stop you, respond to you. It's your floor, and it's all for you.
877-99 on Fox. It is the Odd Couple, Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington, on an election Tuesday, Fox Sports Radio.
You know what? One of the glaring things that happened, and we talked about it, about the Dallas Cowboys. I picked them to win. I said they've been so bad because I told you I had no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
I was going on just pure.
It happens. People win. You're not going to lose all the games.
You're not going to lose every game.
I get it.
That's exactly what it was like. It's Atlanta. My God. Am I really crowning Atlanta? They can't be beat. The Cowboys are bad. I get it. They'll luck their way into a win or what. They can't even luck their way into a win or to anything, to be honest. They're so bad. But the season's over, and you know what? You got to figure it out. Dak is hurt.
Yep.
He's going to miss a few weeks. I don't know. Are they going to finally let Trey Lance get in there? Or I know he's not the number 2 quarterback, but
Cooper Rush.
Right. But you know what I'm saying?
They ain't in no rush. This is, they know what Cooper is.
I already know what he is.
Yeah.
I would try to take a look at Trey Lance. Why not? Just to see if he's anything. Or do we need to move on? Because the guy was a top pick, right, in the first round by the 49ers. But my point is, this is not about just firing Mike McCarthy. We already know that. He doesn't have a contract for next year. We already know he won't be back, so that's not telling you anything special about what the Cowboys are. You could cut Ezekiel Elliott, right? He's not rushing for anything.
No.
This guy can't make meetings. He's late. They left him behind this past weekend because he didn't go to meetings or whatever. I don't even know how a guy whose career is hanging by a shoestring
because he feels slighted that they're not using him enough. He already said that a few weeks ago.
So you don't go to you come late to
I didn't
to work?
say he wasn't being Petty Wop. He is Petty Wop's brother, Petty. Yep.
I don't even understand. Like you're playing football, people got to work a real 8 or 10 hours for no money, and you're playing in the NFL and you can't go to practice or you can't be on time. Like seriously.
Nope. I think it's a pout.
That's sweet.
Y'all brought me back.
I'll pout you right
Y'all
out.
not using me enough, man. I could be better than this. I think that's what you get.
No running back for the Cowboys to rush for more than 13 yards in a carry. I mean,
it's
really
true.
bad.
I mean, you can only go so far, but go ahead. I know you're cooking to something.
Yeah, here's my biggest thing. You already signed a quarterback, and you signed Dak Prescott for $60 million a year. You signed CeeDee Lamb, who's more like a money market because he doesn't have a quarterback really. So right now. But if I'm the Cowboys, I think big, and I try to change what you have here.
Okay.
I would trade Micah Parsons and try to get some pieces and first-round picks that are going to fill these holes because defensively they can't stop anybody, right? And what is the point on having – you remember, he's got to get paid. He's not taking – he got a discount. He's got to get big money. So you're going to pay – you got – a quarterback with big money, a wide receiver with big money, and now you're going to sign a defensive player with big money, and your team can't win? Nah, I'm not doing that. You have to make drastic times call for drastic measures. I think they should trade Micah Parsons. Well, and throw in his podcast as a podcast.
Throw that in too, and now, if you act now, you'll get Micah's podcast. No, I hear you. And if I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, I would understand the frustration and the need to do something drastic. And I do think they should. But I do think there's a greater issue right now with them, and it seems to be cultural. Like something's just off. The mojo ain't mojoing right now. Something is not working, not clicking within the organization. You got Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb getting into it multiple games. And we're all used to quarterbacks and receivers having a moment, but they had it for multiple games. You got Micah Parsons going on his podcast talking about top 10 quarterbacks, not mentioning Dak.
Turn off your mic.
You got Dak on the sideline. I'll be interested talking about we blank and suck. Some just seems to be off right now with them as a whole. You got, of course, Jerry Jones yelling at people, yelling at radio people, threatening to fire people. So the whole daggone organization right now is in a funk. So I don't think just getting rid of Micah Parsons is the answer. And also why I don't like that is because, as you know, I'm big on guarantees. And what that means is, like, for the most part, I know what I'm getting from Micah Parsons. Now, I'm not saying he's going to get 22 sacks every year, but I know when healthy, when going at it.
It's been a long time since that.
I know, but when he's healthy, he's not my issue. It's Aiden Hutchinson. I'm big on that. TJ Watt. Guys like that. Chris Jones for the Chiefs. That's why they couldn't let him go. Because guys like that, I know what I'm getting, and that helps me kind of ease my pains. Okay, I can take care of.
The Cowboys have not been to the NFC championship game since like '96. I mean, I'm just
no, I know, but the only thing I'm saying is it's not Micah.
And you're going to pay another guy mega bucks on this team.
The issue to me is it's who else you pay. Like you paid Dak crazy money. Micah's going to get paid, but Micah, I know for the next few years is going to give me 12 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. I kind of can pencil in what I know what's going to happen, and those are the plays that can help change games. It's some other things, some other bad decisions. Ignoring Derrick Henry, who said he would love to play in Texas again, and da-da-da. You just ignore Derrick Henry's request.
He didn't have any money.
And now, you find some money. As much as you do, Jerry Jones, you better find some money. If in Jerry's world, you go find money for Derrick Henry, who looks incredible. Him and Saquon are competing for the best backs in the league, along with the combo that you're getting out of Detroit, not singularly. But they look a mess as a whole. It looks bad. It's so disappointing because here they go again with high expectations to do something, and they just look a mess, like I said. And really, their quarterback, who Micah said ain't top 10, said it best. We blank and suck. And they do blank and suck right now. They let Fox Sports Radio. It is the Odd Couple. Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington, hanging out with you on a Trash Talking Tuesday. Get to that in just a sec. By the way, if you still want to get in, 877-99 on Fox. 877-99 on Fox. Trash Talking Tuesday. You want to jump in on that? Still a couple of minutes to do so. Broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. Hey, tired of feeling alone in your job search? With just one connection, you can find endless job opportunities. That connection is Express Employment Professionals, and there are no fees for job seekers. Visit expresspros.com to find the location nearest you. That's expresspros.com. And it is that time, as I just mentioned, Rob, for Trash Talking Tuesday.
All right, let's kick it off. Joe in Jacksonville, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Who you trashing, Joe?
What's up, fellas? What was going on with DJ Moore not finishing a play and walking to the locker room?
Keep going.
His quarterback's out there keeping the play alive. It's amazing. You're supposed to be the number one receiver out there on the team, but I guess apparently there's Crustables in the locker room, and he's got to get to them.
Wow.
Hey, yo, that's the peanut butter and jelly joint thing, right? That's what those are?
Yeah. Is that what they are?
Those are kind of I had one, and I felt like that was pretty good, Rob G. Am I missing? Do I need to double back to those? Yeah, all right, I need to go back to those. That's the little kids, my little kids be having those things like that. All right, who else we got?
Albert in Riverside. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. Who you
trashing, Albert?
I'm trashing the LA hater himself, Rob Parker, for constantly pitting against the Dodgers all postseason. Oh, they don't have enough pitching. Tatis is that cat's meow. It's all about Aaron Judge. Well, guess what, Rob? Kiss the ring. We're the champs, baby. Back to back is coming.
Albert, keep going. Tell him Diddy ain't want to give him a chance with the Mets. Diddy didn't want to give him a chance with the the Yankees. Nope. Keep going, Albert.
All right, Albert, thank you. 877.
I'm the poo-poo king.
I am. And I'm having poo-poo platter for lunch tomorrow. You know me.
Yeah, you are the poo-poo king, man. I told you I should have put some money on all that. You went against the Dodgers every single game. Every single Shekel City. I'm going with the Padres.
Yeah, the Padres.
1.5. I'm going with the Mets. I'm going with the Yankees. Anything else you want to go against the Dodgers? Oh, man, my goodness.
I did pick the Dodgers before the season started.
Stop telling me about that. Then you change it. I don't want to hear about it.
Don't make it but don't make if I'm a Dodger hater, why did I pick them before the season started?
Because you snapped out of it. No, and you were like, whoa, what was I thinking?
Because that's ridiculous. That's what
For 2 seconds, I almost went with the Dodgers.
Whenever people say that, I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. I remember me and Tom Izzo had a big fight. And he's like, I don't understand why the Michigan State coach, why you hate me or whatever. I said, no. I said, this is so ridiculous. I said, when you won the national championship in 2000 and the Pistons head coaching job was open, guess who wrote a column saying that they should hire Tom Izzo? Now, if I hate you, why would I write that? Oh, well, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what did he say? Now we're invested in the story, Rob Parker. What happened?
But then he realized he had no case, that I have something against him. I said, Tom, why would I write that about you getting a job?
Did you write another article column and say, don't hire him?
No, then I wrote a column saying that he'd never win another national championship.
See, that's what you do.
And I was right.
That's what.
How many years it's been? How many years it's been?
Was that 01 the last one?
2000. It's been almost 2000. It's been almost 25 years.
Man, I remember that one because I was up there partying at Michigan State when they won.
They're burning couches.
Yeah, with those Flintstones. Man, Michigan State was a fun time.
All right, Charles in South Dakota, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. Who you
trashing, Charles?
It's Trash Talking Tuesday, and I'm trashing Aaron Rodgers. He's supposed to be a great quarterback. Everybody says so. But Johnny Unitas looked better in a Chargers uniform than Aaron Rodgers looks in a Jets uniform. And when he played the Steelers, his best receiver was a rookie on the Steelers. Had 3 interceptions. Well, maybe 2, but still, they didn't need the Iron Curtain. All they needed was a shower curtain. Then he gets Avante Adams. I don't care if it's Devontae Adams, Amy Adams, John Quincy Adams, or the Adams family. He's still not going to do anything. The week after that, he loses again to the worst team in the NFL.
And last week, well, they won, but whoop-de-doo.
All right.
He needs to elevate his team because that's what good quarterbacks do. He can't even elevate himself off a couch to turn on the lights because he's still in a darkness retreat.
All right, Charles. Appreciate the call, man.
Goodness, he went in.
How about taking shots in here?
How about Travis in Cincinnati? You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Who you trashing, Travis?
Travis, I'm sorry.
What's up, OG? This is Chad in Cincinnati.
Chad, what's up? What up?
Yeah. Hey, what's up? I was sitting here with my son Chase, and I was just gonna trash VJ Vernon Husky. He likes to argue with other men over men in tights who don't even know our names.
Don't take my line. That's my line. Go ahead.
I'm trashing VJ for arguing over men in tights who don't even know our names, like Kelvin says. I think that's ridiculous.
Wait, oh yeah, he going in on VJ, man.
I know. Hey, how old's your son now?
He's 3. Like he's a big guy, and we'll never forget your gesture. You know, when the 513 in Northern Kentucky, your goal. So,
man, I appreciate that, and I sent him something for his son.
Oh man,
back when he was born. I can't believe it was 3 years ago.
We appreciate you, Kelvin. You're a beast too.
I appreciate you, brother.
We give you mad props. So keep up the great job.
Thank you, bud.
Appreciate you, man. I love that little Cincinnati right there. You cross over between there and Kentucky, man. The Natty, yeah.
Are you kidding? I lived over the 471 bridge.
Yeah,
in a town called Southgate.
Hey, that's a beautiful. You know how in America, we talk about L.A. and New York and Miami, that kind of the sexy places. There's some cool-looking places. I'm not going to act like I've spent as much time in Cincinnati as you, but just even aesthetically, you drive on that bridge right there, man. It's a beautiful shot, beautiful view. There's some cities, man, that are kind of slept on. Oklahoma City's kind of a cool place. There's some – there's a cool small town as well, Indianapolis. Like, I'm not saying go there and it's better than, these massive, big, huge cities, but there's some shout out to these kind of medium-sized.
Is a big restaurant there. They have the big colossal shrimp cocktail. If you go to Indianapolis.
Is that what you had today?
No. But if you go there, that's what you get, a big shrimp cocktail from Elmo's in Indianapolis.
I got some family out there.
They had a mall downtown. I don't know if they still have it.
Don't say they had a mall. Like don't do Indianapolis like it's some super small town.
No, but they
had a Chili's.
They had a mall
They had an
downtown.
Applebee's. Don't do them like that now.
They got an Applebee's on 125th Street in Harlem.
Top 5 favorite cities to hang out in America. We got a minute.
Hang out?
Yeah, just like your favorite cities.
I mean, I'm from New York, but I would say L.A. when I come here. Like, okay, I live here.
Was this in order, or you just named
No,
them?
I'm just
okay.
New York, L.A.
Yeah, you a L.A. guy now.
Atlanta,
like top down, doing your thing.
Chicago, and D.C.
All right, wait, New York, Chicago, D.C., L.A. You're missing one.
No, I said Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. I didn't hear Atlanta. Oh, yeah. That's kind of chalk. I'm not mad at that.
I mean, which one would you take out?
I'm not mad at that. Chicago's amazing. It was just there, obviously.
Just for the NABJ convention.
in August.
It was tremendous.
Is there a sleeper? I mean, Vegas, is that in there? San Francisco could sneak in there. New Orleans will be down there in February. Is there some sneaker? Rob G, was missing a city or something that you think? Favorite city?
Rob G likes Vegas.
For me, it's always going to be Vegas. It'd be Vegas 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Really? So. You like it like that?
I love it.
You're so L.A.
Yes.
Y'all love Vegas. Boy, that's all y'all got because it's so close.
That's all we need. What do you mean that's all you got?
Man, go see the world. Get out there. Go see the rest of America. Man, nobody heads out there.
All right.
Hey, Dodgers doing a little something you might have an issue with. We'll tell you what it is next. The Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.